Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Niamtu, LoveThatFace.com, and if you follow our YouTube channel or any of my textbooks or articles, you know that one of my passions is facial implants. And one of the questions that we get a lot, especially from patients or even novice surgeons, is how do you know which implant to place where? And it can be very confusing at first because there's a wide array of different implants in sizes and shapes. So I'm going to show you a way that I think works really well where you can treat almost any patient with one of three implant choices: a submalar, a malar shell, or a combined submalar implant. So we're going to show you on a patient how we do this and what we look for, and educate people a little bit about implant selection in terms of what type, what size, what form, what morphology. I'm Dr. Joe Niamtu, LoveThatFace.com. All right, so what we're going to do is talk a little bit about what size cheek implant to place. So this is a young patient who has nice cheeks. Smile, relax, and actually this is what we're trying to duplicate when we do implants, this nice round cheek apple, and it tapers out this way. So being that this is a nice normal cheek, one of the implants that we use, which is really, I use this about 98% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, and this is a submalar implant. So it really goes from about there to there, and you can position it more medially or more laterally depending on what you're trying to achieve. So just to show you a difference, this is a small and this is an extra large, okay, which would be a pretty big implant. So you can see the difference in size. So it is the shape of the implant and where you place the implant that makes a difference. 99% of the time I'm using this implant, and 99% of the time I'm placing it right about there. And what does that do? That gives me the nice cheek apple right here, tapers off there, and the tail tapers off over the zygomatic arch. So that's what we're trying to do. Another kind of implant, and I hardly ever use this, and this is a malar shell implant. Now this implant is for people that want just the high cheekbone look, and it doesn't do anything over here, and it does very little over here, so the prominence of that implant is right there. And every once in a while we'll have somebody who has adequate tissue here, but they're really deficient here. And that's what this shell implant is for. And personally, I think when implants became popular 30, 40 years ago, people more often were looking for this big cheekbone, and I think it's a little bit out of style. I think contemporary patients want this nice, soft improvement here that this patient has. The other implant that I use maybe 1 or 2% of the time is the combined submalar shell. Now what this implant is kind of a combination of the submalar implant and the malar shell implant. So if you could imagine these things being together, and what that does is that treats not only this area but the higher cheekbone. And this is a big implant, and again, I don't use it that much because most people don't need augmentation way out here, and you have the option to position this. You also have the option to trim any of these implants. So experienced surgeons will customize the implants and trim them down, but I find very few instances where I need to fabricate a computer-generated custom cheek implant because these are so versatile. So again, my go-to implant for the average patient is the submalar implant. This is what most patients, male and female, will benefit from. A smaller, more petite patient or a younger patient may need that type of size, where an older patient with more volume loss may need that type of size. So these are made by Implant Tech. These are silicone implants, and these are just the sizers. The actual implant is clear, and you can actually try these in during surgery just like you try on shoes. So this is just a little insight of how we choose implants and what implants we choose. I'm Dr. Joe Niamtu, LoveThatFace.com, and if you want to view more about facial implants or cosmetic facial surgery, look at my website, cosmeticsurgeryeducation.com, where we have for-purchase video series on various cosmetic surgery procedures. This video is a free video on YouTube. I also have a for-purchase video series at cosmeticsurgeryeducation.com, which covers just about all the common procedures in cosmetic facial surgery. It's great for interns, residents, students, or even experienced surgeons that want to review or to see another way to do things. So I'm Dr. Joe Niamtu, lovethatface.com and cosmeticsurgeryeducation.com.